highways in America have countless ghost stories. Most people dismiss them as rumors, urban legends created to scare travelers. But one place, one motel, hides a truth so chilling that even police officers refuse to talk about it. They call it the Silent Motel. This is the story of Daniel Miller, a 27-year-old traveler who made the mistake of staying there one stormy night, a mistake he would never forget. The rain poured endlessly as Daniel drove through Nevada's barren desert highway. His GPS had long stopped working, and his phone showed no service. He had been on the road for hours, heading toward Los Angeles after visiting friends in Denver. His fuel gauge was almost at E, and his eyelids grew heavy from exhaustion. Just when panic began creeping in, Daniel saw a flicker of neon through the foggy windshield. A broken sign hummed in the darkness. The Silent Motel, rooms available. The name itself felt wrong, but the thought of shelter and rest overpowered his instincts. He pulled into the cracked parking lot. The entire place looked abandoned, except for one dim light glowing from the reception. Inside the lobby, the air smelled of mold and old wood. The walls were lined with faded wallpaper, peeling at the corners. Behind the counter sat an old man, pale and expressionless. His eyes didn't blink much, and he moved with an unsettling stiffness. Daniel forced a smile. "Do you have a room for the night?" Without a word, the man slid a tarnished brass key across the counter. The keychain read, "Room 7." Before Daniel could thank him, the man spoke in a hollow voice. "Lock the door. And no matter what happens after midnight, don't open it." Daniel chuckled nervously, thinking it was some creepy motel tradition. He took the key and headed to his room, unaware of the nightmare waiting inside. The room was old but oddly clean. The bedspread looked untouched, the mirror spotless, and the wooden desk polished. Still, something felt off, as if someone had prepared the room just for him. By 11:45 p.m., Daniel lay in bed, trying to sleep. But the silence was unbearable. No crickets, no cars, no wind, just an oppressive stillness. At exactly midnight, the clock on the nightstand ticked loudly. Suddenly, a slow dragging sound echoed outside his door. Thump, drag. Thump, drag. A woman's sobbing followed. Soft at first, then louder. Daniel's chest tightened. He remembered the old man's warning, "Don't open it." He pressed his ear to the door. A voice whispered, "Please, help me." Shaking, Daniel peeked through the peephole. What he saw made his blood run cold. A woman stood directly outside, dressed in a torn white gown. Her skin was pale, her long black hair dripping wet as if she had crawled out of water. Her eyes were hollow black voids. She wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling. Daniel staggered back, covering his mouth to stop himself from screaming. The knob rattled violently, though he hadn't unlocked it. Then, silence. When he looked again, the hallway was empty. Daniel tried to calm himself. Maybe his tired mind was playing tricks. Maybe the motel had a history of scaring guests for fun. But then came 3 deliberate knocks. Bang. 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 His heart pounded. Against every instinct, against the old man's warning, Daniel reached for the knob. The door creaked open. The hallway was empty again. Relief washed over him for a moment, until he turned around. The woman in white stood inside the room, her face inches away. Her mouth stretched unnaturally wide, whispering in a guttural voice. "You shouldn't have opened it." Daniel stumbled backward, knocking over the lamp. The room plunged into darkness, save for the flickering hallway light. On the desk lay a bundle of old newspapers, brittle and yellow. His trembling hands picked one up. Silent Motel Massacre, 1987. 7 found dead in room 7. The article described a serial killer who lured travelers, murdering them in gruesome ways. The last victim was a young woman, still missing, her body never recovered. Daniel looked up. The woman pointed at the article, tears streaming down her hollow eyes. She wasn't trying to kill him, she wanted justice. A sudden vision flashed before him, blood-soaked walls, screams echoing, the woman being dragged and buried in the woods behind the motel. As dawn broke, Daniel fled the motel. But when he glanced back, the building looked different: no lights, no receptionist, only boarded windows and a faded sign swinging in the wind. Hours later, he told the police everything. At first, they dismissed it as exhaustion or hallucination. But when they searched the woods behind the property, they found skeletal remains of a woman, finally solving the decades-old case. Daniel's testimony freed her spirit. From that day, he never ignored warnings again. Not every warning is meant to scare you. Some warnings are meant to save your life. Curiosity and disbelief may lead you straight into danger. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is to listen.